Oh man, I woke up late this morning. This is gonna be a short video though, about 15, 20 minutes. that's a short video for me. I usually make videos 40 minutes long, an hour long, sometimes 2 hours long. You know. Whew. Oh man, I'm tired. Hours. That wasn't bad. That was 8.5 hours sleep, man. I slept all the way through. I think I woke up one time and then I went back to sleep though. You know. I don't take no pills though, man. No sleeping pills. I'm taking a break from that too, man. Shit. Cause usually I used to take sleeping pills to help me sleep, but I didn't need them last night. Oh, oh, oh man. Oh, shit. Oh. What's up, Sean Breezy? I'm just chilling, man. Just woke up late. I woke up late because I don't know, man. I was so tired. My body's just trying to recover, man. You know, time for me to get another hat. This hat getting played. Anyway, so the 80-20 rule, man. That's what's really going on in society, man. Women are only dealing with 80% of the men, while the other men are having a hard time out here, man. So that's why you see so many millionaires in California, man. Cause dudes are like, nah. Some men are actually like me, you know. They're like, nah, I'm chasing my dreams. I'm chasing my goal. I'm trying to get into the 20% of men. I'm gonna squeeze my ass in there. There's plenty of room in there. You just gotta work hard and make that money. You feel what I'm saying? All you gotta do is work hard, you know, and squeeze yourself into that 20%. That's what I'm doing. And either I'm gonna be 20% in America or I'm gonna be in the 20% overseas, man. It don't matter. I don't know, man. I might not even go overseas, man. I might just go there for vacation, you know, bust many nuts and then come back. But yeah, that's what's really going on in society, man. It's the 20%. You know, the men are only, you know, the dudes who are over 6 foot, you know, the Chads and Tyrones, the rich men, right? Or just the men who got a really good job, a dude that's making uh, 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 um, 400,000 a year, 500,000 a year, you know, the thousandaires. You feel me? You know, women are only dealing with those type of men. I see the way dudes who are 6 foot get looked at, bruh. Shorty Pants. She was more after the guy that was over 6 foot than she was toward me. You know, and she showed some interest toward me, but she showed more interest in him. You guys are looking at me like like I got food all the time, man. I ain't got no food today, guys. I'm talking to the seagulls that's just waiting behind me to get fed. Look at them. They're on top of the roof. They just they posted up just waiting for me to pull out some food. They just waiting. Yeah. Cause I know I seen how she looked at the dude. Plus, I think he's Filipino, so of course, and she's Filipino, so of course they're gonna check for their own men. But I see the way she looked at me, which with some type of interest. I'm talking shorty pants number one, not part two. But she looked at him because he's over 6 foot. He's like 6 foot, 6'1", or whatever. But she pursued him more harder than she pursued me. So yeah, the 80-20% rule stands. And what happens is a lot of these women, they get played by these men in the 20%. They get a baby, and then they come running to you, the guy that's under 6 foot tall. Because then they say, well, those guys, they just played me. I ain't even looking for height no more. As long as the guy's over, 6 foot. As long as the guy's over 5'7" or 5'8". As long as he's around 5'9", 5'10", they lower their standards down. And then when they get a baby with Chad and Tyrone, or with the businessman or the guy that's over 6 foot tall, then they come running to you, after they've been used up. I had that happen to me in my life a lot of times, man. I ain't gonna lie. Gwen had kids, okay? She was already knocked up by somebody that was over 6 foot, Chad Rome. She got knocked up by Chad Rome. Her options start to shrink, so it's then she start expanding her options, you know. But only when you get these pretty women that are like sevens and stuff, after Chad and Tyrone is done with them. That's why you gotta say, nope, I don't want you with a kid. I don't want you with a child. I'm gonna get this bread up so I can attract women without children, women that are young without children. You know what I'm saying? Because other than that, you're gonna be taking Chad and Tyrone's sloppy seconds, or guys who are over 6 foot. My whole entire life, bro. Like I used to deal with single mothers a lot in my 20s, and I used to meet these women up, and then I used to meet their sons or daughters, and their sons or daughters was tall, just as tall as me. And I'm like, how tall is they daddy? Oh, he was 6 foot something. And I was like, what? You see, they're you, man, when they've been used up by Tyrone. They stop caring about height so much after a while. They do. Guarantee it, bro. After they done been tossed up by Chad and Tyrone and them, they come running to you with a passion, bro. They come running to you with a passion. Like I heard some of these leftover women talk a lot on some of these leftover women channels. And this one lady said, I don't even care about height anymore. I used to be obsessed with a guy that was 6 foot. I used to be obsessed. But then when she got over past her prime, them standards start coming down. So then she started, okay, he has to be at least not 9. He's at least supposed to be 5'8". He at least is supposed to be 5'8", or he could be 5'8". 6 foot, okay, we're not getting that. 5'8", 5'8", 5'9". But when they're young and fertile, they checking for the top 20% of men, bro. They only give you the leftover scraps. I for real, when I was younger, I didn't see these women as leftover women or women that were at the bottom of the barrel. I didn't see that. I saw that, hey, she was giving me some coochie. I'm gonna be fucking her, man. You know what I'm saying? And I dealt with women who didn't have children too in my 20s. I did both. I did single mothers, and I did women who didn't have any children. You know, standards, yeah. Standards come down after they've been tossed around. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, when I was younger, I had women only want to fool with me, man, when they had children, bro. Like, I guarantee Gwen, I would never have got Gwen in her prime. Gwen was 32 years old, but she was still looking really good. And she had some nice big old titties and a nice fat ass on her. Um, Gwen was desirable. That's the reason why it was hard for me to keep her. But because the 20% of women always deal with, um, I couldn't keep her. Chad Rome came back. I guess that was his ex-wife or ex-girlfriend or something. But Chad Rome came back. See, Chad and Tyrone, man, they got no problems passing on their genetics. It's the average man that's having problems nowadays. If you're not in the top 20% of men, you're going to have problems passing on your genetics, having a family and settling down. They was like, he not giving no food, so we out of here. They both left just now. They gone, look. He said, he ain't giving up no food, man. He just talking on the phone, bro. Let's get out of here. And the Seagulls left. Somebody was funny as hell talking about Chad Siegel. Chad Siegel hogging everything up. Hey, that's that. I'm telling you, man. It's a hierarchy, man. There's a pecking order with everything, man. There's a 20% with the Seagulls, bro. Like yesterday, like I was feeding the seagulls, and I fed one seagull, right? And then as the other seagulls started to come around, Chad Siegel started to puff up his coat like he was dangerous. That's what they do to intimidate other seagulls, right? He started to puff up his feather coat. You know what I'm saying? When the other seagulls came around, he started pumping out his chest and puffing up his coat like, I'm dangerous, motherfucker. That's Chad Siegel, man. You know what I'm saying? Chad. Somebody's funny. Somebody's Chad Siegel hogging everything up. That's what they do. The men in the 20%, bro, they hog everything up. And they give you the scraps if you lucky, bro. I think I was kind of lucky to get Gwen, man. Because she had everything. Ass, titties, skin tone. You know what I'm saying? And of course, I had other girlfriends that didn't. They weren't as pretty as her, but they was curvy like her when I was coming up. I was messing with some of the curvy women, but they was very hard to keep, man. Because they so desired. Curvy women are desired, man, and they're going to go after the 20% of men. To curvy women, nowadays, bro, you are invisible. Even if she has an ugly face, you are invisible, bro. Not to all of them, but to like most of them. Curvy women walk by, they act like you don't exist, bro. They got so many options. Until you have some money, then all of a sudden you're visible. The only ones I'm giving you play, the ones with no curves. The ones at the bottom of the pecking order. You know. Those are the ones that are gonna give you some action. You know. Yeah, I ignore them. They're below my looks level. I don't want them. You know. But you gotta hustle your ass to get into that top 20% of men, bro. That's why I keep preaching that shit every single day. Every single day you should be working toward to get into that top 20% of men. Because once I get a bag, I made it. I'm in the top 20% of men. Now I need to stay there though. You get a few million in your bank account, you in the top 20% of men. You gotta keep that money, invest that money to make sure you stay in the top 20% of men, bro. You know, they don't want to look. A lot of these women, just like I said, they don't want to have babies and stuff with you. If you're under 6 feet tall, bro, like I've been under 6 feet tall my whole entire life, and I've seen it happen time and time again. When Chad and Tyrone don't want them no more, man, they come running to you. When they have babies and stuff by them, them standards come down. And then you have them afterwards, and then they don't want to have kids with you, but they'll have kids with Chad and Tyrone. Yeah, that's how it was with my ex-girlfriend, bro. When I first got into the relationship, she had a kid that was 17 years old, just as tall as me too. Her name was Sabrina. Okay, she was just as tall as me, tall as me. Her father was like 6 foot something. Okay, and the first thing, when me and my ex-girlfriend got together, she was kind of tripping on my height, because I'm not very tall. I'm average height. I'm not part of 20%. If you're under 6 feet tall and you don't have a Chad-like face, you're not part of the 20%. The only way you could be under 6 feet tall and be part of the 20% of men is you gotta have a Chad face. Your face gotta be Chad. And then, women will have babies with you, and deal with you. But if you got average height, and if you average height, you got an average face, you're gonna have a hard time. That's why I say keep the fat off your face, bro. Today we working out. When you're under 6 feet tall, keep the fat off your face. Work out. You feel what I'm saying? Give yourself the best chance. I'm slowing down on drinking, bro. I want to give myself the best chance. You feel what I'm saying? Just to survive, man. You feel me? Give yourself the best chance. Keep the fat off your face. Work out. Beast out. Today's beast mode today. Today's beast mode. Is today sprint day? I think it's sprint day. No, it's Capoeira day. Trying to figure out when the last time. I don't know, man. Whatever I feel like doing. So yeah. So the 20% of men are the guys who get chosen for women that have children with. I could have had children back when I had a bunch of options and shit in my 20s and shit, but I was always wearing condoms. When I was dealing with Gwen, I was, wearing condom. I never went inside her without the condom. But they'll let the Chads and Tyrones not use condoms though. A couple of times we was about not to use a condom, and she was like, "I gotta tell you to reuse a condom, because we rubbing up against each other without the condom." So I had to put my condom on every time I went inside of Gwen. But Chad and Tyrone, she had a baby with Chad Rome. See, these guys, the 20% of men, bro, they got no problem with passing on their genetics. They have families early. Offset, all them other niggas, man, the rappers and shit, all them other rappers, they in the top 20% of men. Guess what? They're going to have children early. A nigga like me and you, we got to get our money all the way get together before we have children. And like the top 20% of men, they don't have to have their money together to have children. They could be a Pookie. That's another motherfucker that's part of the 20%. The Pookies. The motherfucker that's in and out of jail all the time. The motherfucker that's jacking cars. What's that pretty boy name that had a famous mug shot that went viral? and all the women were going crazy. You know, life was good for him. All the females was kicking in doors and giving them all everything, man. I mean, they even paid for his bail. You know, they was sending him flowers and stuff. Chad Rome, bro. Chad fucking Rome. These guys are your enemies, bro. They're your nemesis, bro. They're your competition. Gwen was dating a Chad Rome. You feel what I'm saying? You know, and he came back into the picture and stole her from me, man. Or stole her back. I mean, I stole it from him, from Chad Rome. This is back when I was like 24 years old. But also, Chad Rome was older than me. I was younger, so I had more youth on my side. That's how I was able to come in and take Gwen, because her boyfriend was around her age, or ex-boyfriend, her husband or whatever, was around her age, and I had a little bit more youth. You know what I'm saying? So Chad Rome was a little bit older, in his 30s, taller though. He was taller, around 6'3". Okay. But I also had youth, and I had at the time, I had a pretty boy face. You feel me? No double chin, none of that shit. But I was fine as hell when I was 24, boy. That's why I was fucking Gwen with all my goddamn might. But these 20% of men, bro, they're your competition. You gotta compete with them. You feel what I'm saying? Man, they back again. You guys are killing me. I ain't got no food today. Look at them, just waiting for some food. Like four came back, 2 was chilling, and they went back and got three more birds. And they must have went to go tell them other guys, like, look, this guy's over here, the guy that we were tossing the food around. You know. But that's just the way it is, guys. You got to work your whole entire life to get into that 20%, man. It's hard too, man. Trust me, bro. I've been working five years trying to get into that 20% of men. You know what I'm saying? But once you win there, bro, for life. If you do your money right, make smart investments with your money. Right now, I'm really focusing on just having a family at this point, man. And I'm just trying to get my body as lean as possible. I cut down on the drinking. I didn't drink last night, and I'm not going to drink tonight either. I'm working on my fitness, getting ready for my family, bro. You know, I want to attract. You feel me? I want to attract. You can't attract if you drink it all the time. Your face gonna always look like shit. So I'm cut down on the drinking. Probably won't quit, but I could cut it down though. Just woke up, man. I'm clearing my throat. You know, it's not going to be easy, but it's possible to get into 20%. It's not going to be easy, but it's possible. Just remember that. You know, not going to be easy, but it's possible. You see what I'm saying? Because right now, I'm in danger. You know, you're in danger of not having a family and becoming old and alone. You know, you're in the danger zone. Just like Kevin Samuels used to say. You in the danger zone, bro. So today we ain't eating no food, man. We fasted all the way into 2 p.m. or 1 p.m. and we're gonna have a bowl of pho. I'm gonna break my fast with a bowl of noodles, man. After I get done working out, I'm gonna work out on an empty stomach though. Really, well, we gotta have a pre-workout later on though. Gotta have a pre-workout. Gotta have a Rockstar. I know it ain't good for you, man, but I need that. I need it, man. I need that Rockstar. I'm a little bit older, man. I need caffeine. You know, I don't drink it every day. Sometimes I work out without the Rockstar, man. You know what I'm saying? But every other day, I need like a Rockstar. You know. But and another thing, a lot of us are in danger of dying prematurely too, man. Like, if you're by yourself and you're struggling in the dating market, you're not part of the 20% of men. You're in danger of getting to be 50 something and passing away, man, and dying from something. You know, I look at some of the guys who passed away prematurely, and they didn't have wives, they didn't have kids. My instructor passed away prematurely. He passed away at 45, around my age, years ago. I remember I didn't know why he passed away. He just passed away. He had a heart attack. And he had no wife, no children. He had a girlfriend, but it goes to show that, man, you're in danger of passing away prematurely when you don't have family around you, man. Not saying that all guys don't live to be very old if they don't have a family or children or a wife or a girlfriend living with them. But I'm saying you have a better chance of living longer when you have a family. That's all I got to say. You feel what I'm saying? So my dad, he passed away in his 60s. He didn't live to be 80. 60. I think he was 67, 68 when he died. He could a little bit longer. Maybe he could have lived to be 85, man. If he would have had a family around him, he pushed everywhere from him. He pushed everybody from him, bro. He felt like he didn't need nobody. But you do. Everybody needs somebody, man. You feel what I'm saying? Everybody needs somebody. If I went overseas and got married, it'll be because I want to live longer, and I don't want to be alone for the rest of my life. And if I sit down and have kids, it's because I want to live longer. So women are only dealing with the 20% of men. Back on that subject. But it's because it's built in their nature, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's built in their nature to have a motherfucker that's over 6 feet tall. It's in their nature to be with the best male that they could find. You feel what I'm saying? And just in case you're wondering, why women are like this, it's in their nature. What's up with it, High Priest? It's in their nature to look for the strongest and biggest male. I see it in the seagull kingdom, bro. Like I said, this one guy, this one seagull, he saw other seagulls coming. Automatically he started puffing up his coat and tipping, walking on his tippy toes or something like that. Automatically, like, I'm the biggest motherfucker around here, man. I'm looking at my coat, I'm puffing it up. I'm trying to intimidate your ass. My name is Debo Siegel. Or Chad Siegel, For real, that's how it is. A lot of us, we got to do extra to survive. Like me, if I would have had got the bag and got into the 20% of men when I was like younger, I'd been had kids by now. and a family and a wife and shit. Because once you become part of the 20%, women automatically become very humble all of a sudden. They become more talkative towards you and shit. Like this one female that's in there, she pretty, man. I kind of like her, man, but her friend liked me more. Her friend is like fugly, you feel what I'm saying? But her friend, because she's a 7 in looks, and she's pretty much like 5'6" or something like that. she gives me no recognition. Matter of fact, she don't even recognize nobody in there. Like women of a different caliber, they don't need to go out of their way to find your attention. They got that princess mode going on. You feel what I'm saying? So she only checking for the 20% of men. She's only checking for Chad, bro. Chad, yes. She's only checking for Chad or men around her looks level. Most men that go into the Starbucks are invisible. Most men are average. Yes. And if you look at her, she'll sit there with her legs crossed and she won't say nothing to nobody. Like she just sit there in her own little princess world, looking down at her phone 100% of the time. Don't need to get out there and start looking for attention or nothing like that. She got enough attention already. You know what I'm saying? She got a nice butt on her too. But I guarantee if I became part of the 20% of men, I would get her attention very quickly. All of a sudden, I'll become visible. Especially I came in there with a Gucci suit on or an Armani suit with a Porsche outside or a Lambo. All of a sudden, I will become visible. I will be part of the 20% of men that women desire. Automatically, she'll be talking more. She'll be like, oh, how you doing? She'll be in my face. That's why I work so hard on my numbers, but it's like, because I'm trying to get women like her to pay attention. The only way you're going to do that, bro, you got to be part of the 20%, bro. You know. That's why you have to be working every single day of your life to try to make that happen for you, man. Make it happen, Captain. You got to make it happen. Man, I ain't got no food for you guys, man. Why you guys... Do I got any food in my bag? No, I had food yesterday. You guys missed it. You know. They wait for me to pull out some food. I'm like, it's too early to pull out some food right now. Anyway, like I said, women only want the best man. You know. They trying to pick the best suitor and shit. They picky and choosy because they got all these options. And if you had a bunch of options, you'll be very picky too. Hell, men in the top 20% are picky because they got a lot of options. Okay? So anybody who's at the top, man, and right now, women are at the top. Even if she average looking, they're at the top. If you're an average guy, you're going to have a hard time getting the average woman nowadays because the average woman is checking for Chad only, Chad and Tyrone only, you know, and they're gonna be picky and choosy. They're gonna be always looking for the 6 foot motherfucker. They checking for them hardcore. You gotta be 6 foot plus. You know, if they ain't got no children, that's gonna be a really hard thing to even pull. Like a female with no children, good luck. You know what I'm saying? Good luck. You know. So it's like, work hard to get into that 20% of men. That's all I gotta say, man. You know, work hard. I don't care. Doctor, lawyer, athlete. If you're young enough, if you're in your teens and shit like that, you should be trying to play basketball, football, soccer, you know, You're supposed to be trying to get into that 20% of men, bro. Especially if you're young. I say that because when you're young, uh, you're the best physically and you're the best creatively, okay? You know, as you get older, your creativity dies down, your physical dies down, everything dies down as you get older, okay? The motherfuckers who are creating these dating apps and these other types of apps are the young motherfuckers, bro. The young motherfuckers come in and shape society, bro. You know, the 20% of men come in, they shape society on how they feel like it fits. You feel what I'm saying? Like, men set the standards, not women. Men come along, they become millionaires and billionaires and trillionaires. You know what I'm saying? And they set the standards. That's why they call the broke motherfucker the loser. You feel what I'm saying? Right now, if you're broke, you're not in the top 20% of men unless you're Chad. Chad is the only one who could be broke and still pull the women up out here, bro. You feel what I'm saying? Unless you're a Chad or a Tyrone, you're not in the top 20%. You're struggling. You're struggling. If you're average looking, you're struggling. You're under 6 feet tall, you're struggling. Yeah, I seen plenty of guys get women under 6 feet tall. Yeah, but they had to work heck of hard and extra hard just to like get them. I always had to work extra hard being under 6 feet tall. Even in my 20s, I had to like dress up, man, when I went out. I had muscles though. Throughout my 20s, I was always muscular. I never like gained weight. Wait. No. Yes, I did. When I got over 25, I started putting on weight. But I was still muscular though. So women made the exception for me because I was 5'9", shredded like Bruce Lee, 6-pack abs. I mean, I had rippled stomach. Like in my 20s, rippled. So yeah, they'll make an exception for a guy that's under 6 feet tall if you muscular. But if you fat and under 6 feet tall, then yeah, you at the bottom, man. You ain't gonna no. No. You're gonna struggle hard. Like, I can imagine if I would never had got into shape, I would have been struggling my whole entire life. I really didn't pull a whole lot of women until I got into shape. Until I got into 6-pack ab mode. You feel what I'm saying? But women make exceptions for you though when you're 5'9" and under 6 feet tall. You know, if you got 6-pack abs and you in really good shape, they make exceptions for you. You know what I'm saying? But it's gonna be hard, man. Until you get into the top 20% of men, you're gonna always struggle. Okay. Let's get up out of here, man. And end this live. I'll make a part 2 to this when I come out of Starbucks. Right now, I gotta use the bathroom. So work to get into that 20% of men, bro. Yeah. Kelcat's lucky to be buff. I do, man, a lot of push-ups, a lot of hard work, man. Every time I work out, I do about 200 push-ups, at least that. 200 or more. It's like, it's in my genetics to be buff. Well, my dad had good genetics, man. My dad was taller than me. He had better genetics, but basically. Matter of fact, my dad was better looking than me. He was taller. He was 6 foot. Even my mom was fucking with the 20% of men. My dad was 6 foot, bro. If you're 6 foot, you're part of the 20%. I gotta go. You guys have a good day. Peace out, take care, and bless. I'm out.